From Homer to J.J. Abrams, writers and directors have followed a storytelling convention called the hero's journey. Avatar, Lord of the Rings, and Star Wars all follow the hero's journey pattern. Let's look at the hero's journey of Rey. Think about all the stories you know that follow the same pattern. Leave a comment and let me know what they are. The hero's journey, step 1. We're introduced to the ordinary world, Rey on Jakku. The first part of the hero's journey is to introduce the hero in their ordinary world. In Avatar, we meet Jake Sully before he gets his avatar body. In The Lord of the Rings, we meet Frodo in the Shire. In The Force Awakens, we meet Rey on Jakku. This step tells you who the hero is. The moment we meet Rey, we know that she is a survivor living in a fierce world. Jakku is full of downed AT-ATs and other debris from past battles. Rey abseils down a Star Destroyer looking for parts to sell. Clearly, she's down and out, but also a strong and capable warrior. A similar thing happens in A New Hope. We meet Luke on Tatooine, where he's fed up with life and dreams of going on an adventure. Rey and Luke even share a very similar moment. Luke playing with his toy starfighter while dreaming away. Rey gazing up at a ship taking off into space. Both these scenes serve the same purpose, introducing us to Rey and Luke in their ordinary lives. The only Star Wars trilogy that doesn't have this moment is the prequels. In The Phantom Menace, when we meet Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, they're already on their adventure, as though we've missed half the story. So step 1 of the hero's journey is to introduce us to the character in their ordinary world. Step 2. The call to adventure. Rey meets BB-8 on Jakku. The next step of the hero's journey is for the hero to receive a call to adventure. In Star Wars, that call to adventure usually involves a droid. Luke is on Tatooine when he hears about the princess through C-3PO and R2-D2. In The Force Awakens, Rey meets BB-8 on Jakku. Again, The Phantom Menace is the only trilogy opener that this does not happen in, and that's because Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi are already heroes when we meet them. In The Force Awakens, Rey meets BB-8 on Jakku while BB-8 is being stolen by Teedo. At that moment, Rey has a choice: ignore the situation or rescue BB-8. This is the first time Rey acts like a hero, and it's expanded on later when Rey refuses 40 portions for the droid. When Rey makes this choice, her hero's journey begins, and it's the same for all other myth heroes. Neo has to have the choice of the red or blue pill. Frodo has to have the choice to take the ring or leave it. Only by giving the character that choice can they truly become a hero. Step 3. The hero refuses the call. Rey tells BB-8 to leave in the morning. The next step on the hero's journey is when the hero refuses the call. When they say they cannot go on the adventure, they cannot complete their mission. Frodo tells Gandalf that the ring can't stay here. Luke tells Obi-Wan that he has to stay to help his uncle. Rey tells BB-8 that he must leave in the morning. This moment speaks volumes about Rey's character, because the reason she doesn't want BB-8 to stay with her is because she is afraid of change. She wants things to stay precisely as they are, even though her life is obviously quite terrible. This step always introduces in a conflict. Rey tries to turn BB-8 away because she has to stay to wait for her family. That's Rey's inner conflict, the conflict between waiting for her family and going on her journey. Step 4. The hero passes the threshold. Rey leaves Jakku on the Millennium Falcon. In order for the character's adventure to begin, they have to leave their home. They have to leave their ordinary world. Luke has to leave Tatooine to start his adventure, and Rey has to leave Jakku to start hers. Have you ever noticed how the steps in the journey reflect our own steps? You and I had to leave our homes to start a new adventure, and we might refuse the call at first, like Rey does. When I was back home in England, life was easy, but I toured all over England on stage and I wanted to do something different. I longed for adventure as Rey and Luke did. Then I heard the call to adventure. Actually, I started talking to a girl in Canada, and subsequently moved. I passed the threshold when I boarded a flight out of England. Rey must also pass the threshold. She must leave Jakku to begin her adventure. And so Rey and Finn climb aboard the Millennium Falcon and blast off to outer space. Step 5. The hero is tested and meets various allies and enemies. The next step of the journey is a real time of development for the protagonist. At this stage, the hero will meet all sorts of characters, and those characters will test the hero. One of the main ways characters test the hero is by appearing to be misleading them. Han Solo seems like an enemy when Rey meets him. He waves a gun at her, but then she learns that he's a friend. And that is precisely what happens with Frodo and Aragorn in The Lord of the Rings, Aragorn appearing an enemy and soon becoming a friend. Finn appears to be a friend at first. Then his truth comes out and Rey is made to question him, but she decides to trust him. Characters like this test the hero. As each member of the Fellowship tests Frodo in Lord of the Rings, each character tests Rey too. And it's the same way in myths throughout the ages. Step 6. The hero meets their mentor. Rey learns from Han. If a character is to become a hero, someone will have to teach them. Gandalf teaches Frodo, Obi-Wan teaches Luke, Grace teaches Jake Sully. Only through these mentors can the hero learn the skills and wisdom they need to complete their mission. Rey actually learns from several mentors in The Force Awakens. The first, and most important, is Han Solo. When Rey meets Han Solo aboard the Millennium Falcon, she finds a sort of father figure or guru, who himself has taken the hero's journey and who can help Rey grow. Han Solo then introduces Rey to Maz, who has lived long enough to see the same eyes in different people. Maz helps lead Rey down the path by telling her about Luke. Did you notice how similar Maz and Yoda's roles are? That's because they are both mentors. Maz and Han Solo are Rey's most important mentors, but, Yoda voice, there is another. The other is Kylo Ren, who threatens to become a dark mentor when he offers to show Rey the nature of the Force, just like Palpatine offers to show Luke the ways of the Force in the original trilogy. These three characters all represent ways in which Rey could potentially grow, and we won't know which path she takes until later in the trilogy. Step 7. The hero visits the Inmost Cave. Rey finds Luke's lightsaber. By this point, the character has left their home and begun to learn their power thanks to their mentor. In the next step, the hero will be challenged as they visit the Inmost Cave. The Inmost Cave is the part of the journey in which the hero overcomes their innermost fear. The purpose of this is to have the character overcome themselves. This scene usually takes place in a cave or in some dark room or pit, a location that symbolically represents that dark place within our minds. Imagine going face to face with your deepest fear. For me, that would be the fear of dying alone. Overcoming that fear is the purpose of this step of the journey. In Empire Strikes Back, Luke goes down into the cave on Dagobah, where he sees his deepest fear, that he will become Darth Vader. In The Force Awakens, Rey finds Luke's lightsaber. The moment Rey touches Luke's lightsaber, she has a terrifying and amazing vision. She sees her family leaving, and then she sees the Knights of Ren. In most myths, the hero character passes the test and overcomes their fear, but Rey actually fails this test at first. When Rey finds Luke's lightsaber, she fears it and runs away, and that leads us to the next step of the journey. Step 8. The hero refuses the call for the second time. Rey runs away. You remember that we said that the hero will refuse the call to adventure, and that Rey did that when she told BB-8 to leave in the morning? Well, Rey actually refuses the call to adventure twice. The second time Rey refuses the call is when Maz tells Rey to take Luke's lightsaber. Rey refuses Maz's request and runs away. In most myths, the hero refuses the call only once, so why did J.J. Abrams do it twice? The answer is that by refusing the call twice, Rey shows us that she truly is afraid of her destiny. Her destiny terrifies her. She's not the archetypal hero ready to face any fear. She's very, very human, very, very vulnerable. The first time you watched The Force Awakens, did you think, for a moment, maybe Finn will be the Jedi in this one? If so, you probably thought that because Rey refuses the call twice, essentially telling us that she is not ready yet to become the hero. Step 9. The hero faces the ordeal. Rey fights Kylo Ren twice and visits Starkiller Base. By now, the hero has left home, discovered a new world, found a mentor, and overcome their fear. The next step in the hero's journey is for the hero to overcome their first big test. In the Fellowship of the Ring, for instance, the Fellowship must survive the raids on Weathertop. In A New Hope, Luke, Leia, and Han must escape the Death Star. In The Force Awakens, Rey must face Kylo Ren the first time and escape her cell at Starkiller Base. This stage of the journey is not about victory, though. Luke, Leia, and Han don't destroy the Death Star while they're in it. Frodo and the Fellowship don't kill the Wraiths. Rey doesn't kill Kylo Ren. This step is not about victory. It's about launching the hero into the fight against evil, and it's the first time the hero tests their newfound strength. You will loosen those restraints and leave with the cell open, says Rey. And as she says these lines, she grows closer to the Force, becomes stronger, and overcomes her ordeal. Step 10. The hero takes the road back. At the next step of the journey, the hero will have the opportunity to run back home, to return to their ordinary world. In The Lord of the Rings, after Frodo is wounded on Weathertop and taken to Rivendell, he has the opportunity of turning back. He's fulfilled his mission and could call it quits. In A New Hope, after the gang escape the Death Star, they have the chance of turning back, and it looks for a moment as though Han actually will turn back. In The Force Awakens, Rey meets Finn, Han and Chewie, and the gang have the chance to leave Starkiller Base. But then Han points out that the X-Wing pilots are struggling to take down the weapon and that they need help. So the gang head back into the base. This step leads to the climatic point of good versus evil. Step 11. The hero gets their reward. Rey gets Luke's lightsaber. Having overcome the ordeal, the hero will be rewarded, often with a weapon, sometimes with knowledge, sometimes by meeting a new character. This is the scene where Frodo gets the Mithril, it's where Harry Potter gets the Sorcerer's Stone, it's when Kirk is made captain of the Enterprise. The reward is a powerful item that helps the hero overcome their enemy. Think video games, you get the big gun, you kill the big bad guy. Rey needs the lightsaber to take down Kylo Ren. The lightsaber is the reward for her journey. Masterful storytellers like Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote The Force Awakens with J.J. Abrams, make this reward symbolic. Obviously, the lightsaber is a powerful weapon, but it's so much more. Cinematically, it's Rey taking up Luke Skywalker's mantle. It's the moment she finally overcomes her fear and fulfills her destiny. And it's the path that leads her to connect with the Force a few scenes later. There are so many great rewards in the movies. What's your favorite reward? Oh, actually, scratch that. What's your favorite reward excluding lightsabers? Leave a comment. Step 12. The resurrection. Rey fights Kylo Ren again. The next step of the hero's journey is the resurrection. This is the climatic scene in which the hero faces the evil enemy and either wins or succumbs to them. It's where the Fellowship faces the Uruk-hai. It's the assault of Yavin. It's Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul. In The Force Awakens is the second time Rey faces Kylo Ren. This final battle, however, is about a lot more than a simple tussle between good and evil, and the risk far exceeds that of the hero's life. Rey, having overcome her fear and with Luke's lightsaber in hand, fights Kylo. And it's a very symbolic fight. Symbolically, this is Rey and Luke fighting together because Rey has Luke's lightsaber. And because Rey is with Luke, she is not alone like she was on Jakku. So the symbolism of this fight is about how Rey finds her strength when she finds her true home, not on Jakku, but with Luke and the Jedi. Step 13. The return with the Elixir. Rey takes the lightsaber to Luke. The final step of the hero's journey is for them to return with the Elixir, the weapon, person, tool, or wisdom that will change their world. But the road back is not always a simple case of packing your bags and heading home. Home changes. I learned that personally when I moved country. Rey learns it at the end of her story. Rey now knows that her family are never coming home, but she has a new family. She is now part of the rebellion. Her road home is not a road back to Jakku, it's the road back to the rebels, to Leia, Chewie, and Finn. This moment can often be a real tearjerker in a movie because it reflects how we all feel. We all wish we could go back to our old home sometimes, don't we? Sometimes I wish I could go back to England with my family. But life moves on. Homes change. Mine did. Rey's does too. Rey's home is now with Leia, Finn, Chewie, and Luke. And speaking of Rey and Finn, some people think Rey and Finn will actually fall in love. From the point of view of pure mythology, however, this does not make sense. If you would like me to make a video about why Rey and Finn wouldn't make sense as a love story, leave a comment. When the hero returns home, they return with the Elixir, the weapon, item, or element that the hero needs in order to become their true selves. In The Force Awakens, Rey returns with Luke's lightsaber. It's what the entire movie has been about, and with the lightsaber she can finally find Luke. And then we get that breathtaking scene when Luke gazes down at the lightsaber and we're left wondering, who will keep it, Rey or Luke? And that leaves us with a fascinating question. Most fans presume that Rey will get a new lightsaber and that Luke will have his back. But is this the case? Throughout The Force Awakens, Luke's lightsaber acts as a symbolic passing of the guard. If Rey gives Luke his lightsaber back, it will ruin part of the poetry of the movie. The entire point is that the lightsaber represents the hero, and Rey is now the hero. That's why Luke should refuse to take it back, and at the beginning of Episode 8 should tell Rey that it's hers now, and that it's her time to be the main Jedi. What do you think? Leave a comment. And there you have it, the hero's journey. This storytelling pattern has featured throughout hundreds of years and thousands of books, from Homer to George Lucas to Tolkien to J.J. Abrams. How many movies have you noticed have this storytelling pattern? Leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Here are some more videos I think you'll enjoy.